Hello again! I hope you all have been learning a lot about living on a shoreline property. We've discussed a lot of different topics, and we're almost at our end with just a couple more to go. On the plan for today is going to be another very important discussion on a crisis that almost all waterfront homeowners will face. Though this crisis may not be visible to you when you look out your back window, slowly and surely it will creep along and cause a lot of damage if you don't take the precautionary steps to avoid it. If you've guessed the topic for this video being shoreline erosion, you've guessed correctly. Now, we have mentioned that word many times in past videos, but here we will focus more on what exactly it is, what forms it can take, what damage it can do, and how to avoid it through proper preparation. We're going to be speaking to our old friend from the Alberta Lake Management Society, who will tell us more about how the forces of erosion play a major role in the shoreline lifestyle.
Hello everyone. Thanks for having me over again. Congratulations on being one step closer to becoming environmentally aware shoreline property owners. So you want to know more about the forces of erosion, do you? Well, you should take a seat as the conversation might move you. You see, Lacey, that was funny because when we say the forces of erosion, we're referring to the gradual wearing down of land surfaces due to environmental factors such as water, ice, and wind. Erosion is a force that works over time to create all of the beaches, bluffs, cliffs, and canyons that we love by physically moving sediment or soil from one place to another. It can happen naturally through the wear and tear that lakes and rivers experience in erosion zones. This natural force can have huge impacts to the landscape. If you don't believe me, think of the awe-inspiring Grand Canyon. That was created by natural erosion. Of more concern to us than natural erosion is human-caused erosion. These are eroding processes that are caused by human impact on the environment. Vegetation naturally protects the soil underneath it, holding it in place when it comes into contact with the elements. So when we clear vegetation on slopes or in riparian areas, we make the area more susceptible to the forces of erosion. Sometimes in our effort to make things look pretty, we can critically damage their protection from water, wind, and ice.
Now that you have a good idea of what erosion is and how we contribute to it, let's go for a walk and talk about the damage it can do. So here's a great example of the forces of erosion. What we are standing on currently was once a simple hill that was ripe with vegetation, but because this house cleared away the rocks, plants, logs, and other essential erosion guards, the soil had nothing holding it together and was slowly worn away by the waves and wind. While this may not be an overnight process, can you imagine how much it would cost to restore this hill back to its former structure?
I bet now you're asking how someone would protect their home from something like this happening. Here are a few ways to keep the forces of erosion from removing bits of your beloved shoreline. 1. Retain all of the native vegetation in the riparian buffer. 2. Limit any additional or extra weight on your shoreline by keeping buildings at least 30 meters away. 3. Manage any drainage and seepage on your site and keep it controlled. Berms and rain gardens are great for this. 4. Limit the use of heavy equipment on your shoreline. 5. Evaluate all of your construction projects to ensure they aren't damaging the shoreline.
Thanks, Billy. These look like great ways to protect your shoreline from the forces of erosion. But these seem like mostly passive limitations on what you can do. Are there any ways you can take an active stance against the forces of erosion?
I'm so glad you asked. There's never a wrong time to start protecting your home from the forces of erosion. In fact, the management practices that are used to prevent erosion are the same management practices that help you create a healthy shoreline. One of the first steps to making active changes is to consult with local agencies like Parkland County's Environment and Community Sustainability Services. The Green Acreages program, provided by this department and mentioned in previous videos, provides grants for acreage owners to implement erosion control projects such as native plantings and rain gardens. This consultation will also be helpful for any erosion prevention projects that require permits or licenses. Since slopes or bluffs are the most vulnerable to wind, water, and ice, it is best that they be protected. This can be done by planting the right native vegetation along them. As you've heard from Lacey before, the plant's roots provide a structure for the soil that protects it from wearing away. Creating natural shields of vegetation along your shoreline and throughout your property is the optimal way to increase the biodiversity of your area and limit erosion.
And native vegetation isn't the only thing that can help. Other things like logs, rocks, or trees can provide stability and limit wear and tear. There are so many ways that you can protect your home. Some are simple and cost-effective, whereas others are complex and require geoengineering and contractor work. Either way, Parkland County can help you find the plan that is appropriate for your specific property.
Well, I hope that wasn't too much information to absorb. Erosion is really important for lakeside residents to understand. It's a force so powerful it can move mountains. If you have any further questions or concerns, the Living Edge book will be sure to help you, and all you have to do is complete this video series, and I'm sure Lacey can send you a copy free of charge.